What's going on, everybody? American Football Network here today. And today we're bringing you our Duke Blue Devils preview and prediction video. But before we get started, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Help me reach that goal of 1,000 subscribers by the end of July. We are 99 away. Check out the description for the link to our podcast website and Patreon page. And also make sure you guys check out our college football roundup channel that we do with the football expert. Check him out as well. I'll put cards for both of those channels right here. But let's go ahead and get started with today's video. So Duke is the biggest surprise of the college or the ACC last year. One of the bigger surprises of the just the country in general, as they went 9-4 last year and 5-3 in the ACC under Mike Elko in his first year at head coach. First year with Duke and first year overall, they went 9-4. So a great season for them. I see another one coming up. Riley Leonard had a huge year last year, 250 at 392 for 2,967 yards, 20 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. Also had 124 carries for 699 yards and 13 touchdowns. So, so big numbers from him. I think he's going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the ACC this year. Make sure you guys, if you haven't already, check out my ACC quarterback rankings for this season. I'll leave a card for that video right here. I think Duke's going to have a great season. So let's go ahead and jump into the schedule. So week 1 on Labor Day, they have a huge game against Clemson at home. This is going to be a very competitive game. As a Clemson fan, I am a little bit worried about this game, especially week 1 in the season, but I do think Clemson will get the win. So a loss here for Duke. I just think that Clemson, they have the talent to beat them. I think the biggest key for Clemson is they're going to be able to dominate Duke on both lines of scrimmage. And I think that is going to be the game for them right there, is just the battle at the line of scrimmage. I think Duke is going to put up some points, and I think this will be a close, hard-fought game. Duke may even have the lead going into halftime. We'll see. But I think this is one of those games that's going to be close for about 3.5 quarters, and then I think Clemson will score late to kind of, make the score look a little bit better. But I think this is going to be a tough, hard-fought game for both teams. I really could see it going either way. I think Clemson obviously is a little bit of a better team. They're more talented, but the question is, are they going to play like that? And if not, Duke very well could show up. Clemson's going to have to show up for this game, but I think they will, and Duke will get the loss. But I think it's going to be a very close game. Next up in week 2, Duke gets the Lafayette Leopards. This is a win. I don't think we really need to go into much discussion for this one, but it'll be a good game to bounce back and take out your anger if you do, in fact, lose the Clemson game. If you win that game, a great game to keep rolling with. Then they get Northwestern at home. This is a win. Northwestern very well may be the worst Power 5 team in the country. I think Duke will absolutely demolish them. They played them last year, and they won 31-23 at Northwestern. I think Duke's better than they were last year. I think Northwestern's a little bit worse. So, and it's at Duke. I think Duke could win this game, 41-24, 21, something of the sort. Then they go on the road to Utah, a team that had a surprisingly good year, made a bowl game, but I do think Duke is actually better than them. I think they get on the road, but UConn's been a great season this year. Would it be a team like then another tough game, and that will be the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, although this will be a home game for them. So that'll be interesting to see there. I do think Notre Dame will get the win with Sam Hartman. Will be too much. I think it's going to be the same thing like Clemson, the Clemson game that I think. I just think Notre Dame's going to dominate them on both sides of the ball and be too physical for them. But you could definitely make a case that Duke wins this game. If Notre Dame doesn't show up, much like Clemson, if they don't show up, Duke very well could just put it on them and come away with the win. But I do think Notre Dame is the better team, and I think Duke will get the loss. Then they go into the bye week before they play NC State at home, and I think they beat NC State. I just think they're a better team. regardless of how you think Brennan Armstrong will play, I think Duke overall, just all around, is a much better football team than NC State is. I think Duke very well could be the best team in North Carolina this year. And I think they get the win against NC State. But then they go on the road to Florida State. This is a loss. I just think Florida State has too much offensively and defensively for them. I think not only will Florida State dominate them at the line of scrimmage, like I said, with Notre Dame and Clemson, I think Florida State is just going to have too much of an explosive offense. And, I just don't see Duke being able to win this game. Again, you could make a case for them, though. And that's the thing with Duke this year. Any game that I have them losing, you can make a case for them to win the game. Duke definitely could go. It's possible Duke could go 10-2. It's unlikely, but Duke could go 10-2, 11-1, something like that. Very unlikely, but it's definitely possible. Then they go on the road to Louisville. I think this is a win. I think Louisville is going to be a better team than they were last year, I would imagine, with Jack Plummer reuniting with Jeff Brom. But I don't see Louisville being there yet to be able to beat Duke. I think Duke is a better football team than Louisville is, regardless of them having to go on the road. I think Duke gets another big win here. Then they get Wake Forest at home. Again, I think this is a win. Wake Forest, they lose so much. They're still going to be a very good team. They're being slept on a lot. But I do think Duke is a better football team than Wake Forest. I think they probably win this game, 48-21. Wake Forest defense is just so bad that I just don't see them being able to stop Duke's offense very often. Duke actually beat them last year when they had Sam Hartman 34-31. So I don't see any reason why Duke, and that was that was a home game too. Okay, so that's interesting. That was a home game too. But that's right, because the ACC switched the schedule up this year to those the rotating teams and all that stuff. But point stands, I think Duke is a better football team this year than they were last year. I think Wake Forest is a worse team than they were last year. I don't see any reason why Duke wouldn't win this game other than injuries. Then they go on the road to North Carolina. This is a game that Duke just kind of blew. They ended up losing 38-35. I do think they will lose again. They're going to Chapel Hill. Drake May, I think, is just going to be even better this year. I think it's going to be another great game like it was last year. And again, with North Carolina's awful defense, I could easily see Duke winning this game. If they can get some stops on North Carolina, I definitely could see them winning this game, with Riley Leonard being more experienced this year as well. Because North Carolina's defense is so bad. So we'll see. I think North Carolina gets the win, but I would not be shocked at all if Duke beats them. Then they go on the road to Virginia, and I think this is a win. Virginia is probably the worst team in the ACC. They're down there with Boston College and potentially Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech. I just think Virginia is awful. Was not a fan of the Tony Elliott hire, even as a Clemson fan. But we'll see what Virginia does this year, but I do not see them beating Duke at all. Then they close out the season with a pretty good game. They get Pittsburgh. They lost to Pittsburgh on the road last year, 28-26, but I think they get their revenge and win this one somewhere probably like 31-27, 31-24, 27-21, 27-24, a close intermediate scoring game. I think it's going to be a very fun game. I think Duke will get the win, though, and close out a very good regular season and see what they do in the bowl game. But I have them going 8-4 again. I have them losing 3 ACC games, so going 5-3 in the conference. I think it's going to be another very good season for Mike Elko and the Duke Blue Devils. But that wraps up today's video. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions down below. Again, help me reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of July. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you will check out more of my college football predictions this offseason, and we will see you guys next time.